How's it going, everybody? 1 of 1 here, and if most of you will recognize this is Satisfactory. Probably one of my favorite games out. But this is a little bit different. This is Satisfactory Plus, which is a mod which pretty much overhauls everything in the game and makes everything about 50 times more complicated. Okay, so I guess we'll just start with a quick tour. So instead of regular miners where we have like the tier 1, 2, 3 miners, we have these things. These are modular miners. These modular miners have different pieces. So you've got the modular miner itself. You've got a mining head. Now I've got the steel mining head, which is like, this is like a tier 2 miner, I guess. Tier 1 is a metal mining head, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a tier 3 one, but I haven't even gotten that far yet, and I've been playing this for a very long time. It's kind of ridiculous. But on top of this, we also have other things that we can add on to here. So you can see already that it's got a bunch of craziness in here. So we've got metal mining heads, steel mining heads. We have a smelter modules, which we can add on here. And these just like pretty much fit wherever, you know, they're going to fit. So right now this one goes here, but I think you can actually rotate this and put it basically wherever you want. But I kind of like to keep it where, you know, it snaps in, because I think that's where it's actually designed to go. Because you can see that the 2M3LT3R kind of fits right in that window, which, you know, says smelter. So we also have these low energy modules, and I have no idea where these things go. Looks like it's trying to clip to... Oh, that's where they go. Okay, so you can put 3 energy modules on here. Now these are what you get from slugs. So like instead of going in here and putting in these things, power shards, you actually put in those low energy modules, and that kind of changes things around. It's it's very interesting. And you can see that we've got crushers, we've got sorters, we've got fluid conditioners, we've got solidifiers and coolers, we've got a weaver, and we have the standard constructor and assembler. And then we also have smelters, foundries, which is standard, but then we also have these flexible blast furnace. We have bio water, which is a thing. We have an air collector, which is now a thing. Water extractor, pretty basic here. We have a few different sizes for the blueprint. So I think standard is a 4x4x4 in Satisfactory, but the ones that they've got here start off at 4x4x4 and then they get bigger. So it's pretty crazy. If you want to hatch slugs, I mean, this is where you do all of that. So you can basically grow your own slugs, which is kind of amazing. Now, harvesting all of the pieces and parts that you need to even start doing that will take a little while. So... but yeah, so I'm in the desert starting area. You can kind of see a little bit of my base over there, factory, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, so we've got this stuff, which is rubite. So instead of having our concrete or whatever coming out of here, or limestone I think is what it is, we have rubite. And then from rubite we get a couple of different metals, and then, ooh, I forgot to tap this one. So then we've got steatite, which is here. So this is basically like your iron, but you can get a couple different metals out of this. And then way over here, we have our copper, which is no longer copper. It is called sapphirite. And from there, we also get a couple of different things over there. So that's another rubite. So that's your concrete. And 2 concretes over here. We've got our copper, our other copper right there, and then our 3rd copper back over there. So we've got a lot of stuff. This is kind of what my factory looks like so far. It's work in progress. This is actually my 6th time rebuilding it, I think. So hopefully this one will actually stay for a while. But it's crazy because, like, as you unlock new things in the Satisfactory Plus mod, it's like you realize that you now have to redo everything that you already did. Unless you give yourself, like, a ridiculous amount of space in between everything, which, you know, since we're all about efficiency. There we go. We're back, I think. Hopefully that recorded everything all right. Looks like we're still recording, so that's good. So basically, I'm taking all of the ore that I can, except for the one that I missed over there, and that's all going up to this upper floor. Now, this floor with the 3 windows, kind of like in little, what do you call it, quadrilateral shapes or whatever, that is just kind of like a routing floor for all the belts and everything, and then everything else is built actually on the floor above with these 3 horizontal windows.
Multiple fix-it personnel in the area. Proceed with harvest.
And that thing is
before it's
talking
too
to me.
late.
Anyways. Okay. So I suppose what we need to do now is take a look at what we've got. So we'll take a look at the, well, here's my space elevator. So this is kind of like the idea that I'm going for as far as the design goes. It's pretty straightforward. Main construction area in here for, you know, doing stuff. And then we've got, and I'll explain once we get up there why I put all of the ore processing stuff up there. So let's just head up there. And we'll go into the routing floor first. So you can see this is just all of the belts going through here, kind of weaving around. There's a lot in here. Like, you can't even really see it all, but there is a lot in here. And it's all just going to different areas, and then of course this is taking, you know, some stuff too, making other things. So that's basically what this whole area is, and I mean, you can see there's a lot of extra space here, so if I need to route more stuff, I can. These are actually carrying steam, which is a thing in Satisfactory Plus. So I suppose we can go up here and we'll take a look at this first. So this is my steel area. So how this all starts is, first we need the steertite, right? So we take the steertite, which is coming up from here, so this is just straight up steertite ore, and it's being fed into these 2 crushers. Now the crushers will crush the steertite ore, give us crushed steertite, and then also crushed stone. Now the crushed stone, I don't really use. So what's going to happen is all of that is going to go into here. And this is an awesome sink storage, which means that it'll fill all the way up until this last one, and then everything that goes into this space will then be synced away. So I get points for that. So pretty useful. For this section particularly, I don't have any need for the stone, so that's why I'm just sinking it. And then we'll take both of the outputs from this of the crushed steertite, and that goes into this one huge building, which is a sorter. So this will take all of that and then sort this, along with a little bit of water, into crushed iron. And I'm actually using an alternate recipe here, so this is pure sorted iron. So this takes crushed steertite and water, and it gives you just a ton of iron. Whereas normally, what this would do is, if you were to take this crushed steertite, it would make iron, magnesium, and then more crushed stone, which I have no use for. So we're going to keep that as is. Fill that up, get rid of this stuff because I don't really need it. Okay. So once that's done, it gets merged up over into here, and then it goes that way. Now in here is just a bunch of coal that I have stored. I don't have the coal actually belted over here yet, but I do have some stuff set up over there where the coal is. And then you can see this is kind of going into there. Now we have these. So you can see that our coal is going to be coming up into here, and it's going to be mixed into this, which is one of our, what are these buildings? Flexible blast furnaces. And so from here, this is where you make molten metals. So we're going to be making molten iron, which then creates a little bit of slag as well, so we have to do something about the slag, which is always fun. And then, so all of our coal is going into here, and then also our steertite is going through over here. So iron through here, coal is up over into here, going over onto this side, not this side. Oh my god. So to make steel, first we need to make molten iron. Once we have the molten iron, we mix that with coal and some air, and then we get steel. So that's how this whole process works. And then a side product is slag, which we can then use to turn into concrete. but I don't do that up here. So basically we've got 3 of the blast furnaces here. They're all set up to take in 180 crushed iron. And I think I'm only putting out 120, no, 150. Yeah, 150. So I think one of these is only set to 50%, but I don't remember. It's not like it really matters anyways. But so anyways, the outputs over here. So we got our slag going out over there. We've got our iron going out over here, and the molten iron goes up into this right here, and then this also from this output goes into that same one, and then this also goes into that same one. So all 3 of these are feeding all 3 of these. And then this I believe is okay. So this is slag. Why is the slag here? Oh, because the steel makes slag too. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, so you take your molten iron, your coal, and your air, and then you get molten steel and you get slag. So you got to do something with the slag. So the slag apparently is going out over here, and then what we get out over here. Let's see. This is, what is this? Oh, this is where our steel is coming out right here, and then our air. So white is air apparently, is going into there, and that's being piped into all 3 of these things. If I can hop on top of the pipe, please. Thank you. All right. So once again, output of steel going over here, output of slag going over there. Now all of the slag joins up onto this pipeline here. So this is your slag coming out from over here, joins up with the slag coming out from over here, and then all of that goes over into this section. So yeah, so all of this right here was just for steel. Oh, and I suppose I should explain this too. So what we've got in here is water being made. And so what we're doing is we're taking our steam and we are condensing it back into water, and to do that we're using the solidifier and the cooler. So all the steam that we're making from other processes is then coming up into here, and then steam, you don't need a pump for it, so you can, pump it up as far as you need to and it'll just work. So if I can make the water up here, then I don't need pumps, and then also I get, if I want to use this water anywhere else, I've got that extra head, so you get plenty of pressure as you're moving it around. Then we have this section over here. This section was actually easier to build even though it's larger. So I suppose we should probably, can't get in over there. Yeah, let's just go this way. So much like how we did over there, we've got a bunch of crushers over here, and then each of these crushers is taking in a specific ore. So for example, I think these are taking sapphirite. Yeah, so this is crushing the sapphirite, giving us some stone. Stone is going down, and then the sapphirite is going this way, and then the stone is all getting collected down here on this floor. So you can see we've got some merger and stuff over there. Let me put the floor back in. And I don't know why you're up here, dude. I don't even know how you got up here, but I guess it's just a thing. Alright. And then we're processing our steatite here, and we are processing our rubite here. Now, once all of this ore is processed, and I've got this set up so that way we're actually processing all of the ore that's coming in. I think these are, what, 5 each? 6 each. Yeah. So 6 each of these things is processing, and then all of that is moving over into these sorters. So we've got 3 sorters for the sapphirite, we've got 3 sorters for the steatite, we've got 3 sorters for the rubite. Okay. So from there, we take our now crushed zinc and our crushed copper, which is what you get from the sapphirite, and then we are moving that over to here. So for example, this is the straight up copper coming through over here, which is then getting moved up into our blast furnaces, which is then taking that copper and turning it into molten copper. But of course we get slag, so we have to take care of the slag. The slag goes down, the copper, as you can see in here, molten copper. It's actually a really, really nice color. I don't know if it's the gradient or if it's just the color, but it's kind of like, I don't know, I like the color. So yeah, so all of the copper is being gathered and then moved over here, and then being moved down here. And then the same thing is happening over here with the zinc. So this is all zinc going through here. So there's all of our zinc. And then over here we've got our iron. So this is all molten iron. And we can see the molten iron in here. And then we have magnesium. Now the magnesium we can't, at least I haven't found a use for it yet. So right now we just have molten magnesium and nothing to do with it. So it's just going to kind of sit there for a little bit until it's needed, I suppose. And then over here, I think this is tin. Yeah, so this is tin. And then after we have the tin, we have lead. And we are sliding along the pipes for some reason. Okay, there's our lead. But that's not even all of it. So on top of all of those metals that we already made, we also have brass and we have bronze. Now, both of those require copper. One of those requires crushed iron. So we have our molten copper going into both and being split in between the two. We've got our crushed iron going into this one right here, which is making the brass. And then I think we also need zinc, or is it tin? Yeah, tin over here. So tin, copper gives us our bronze, and then iron, zinc, and crushed iron gives us our brass. So that's how we're making all that stuff. So once we have all of that in there, we need to take all of our metals, including our slag, and move all of that over into pipes here. So this is our slag, and I routinely empty these. Well, no, actually no. I don't need to empty those out because I have the slag taken care of now. So we have 3 pipes of slag, and they're all pretty full once they actually get full. And then we have all of our molten metals here. And then another thing, because we actually had space here, is we're taking some of the crushed stone and we're turning that into sand. So we're basically crushing it again. So you crush the ores once, you get crushed stone, you crush the crushed stone, and you get sand. So seems pretty straightforward, right? Then we take the sand, we put it through some smelters, and then we get glass. And then the glass is then being moved over here and brought downstairs. So you can imagine that as each, like, because we didn't have the sorters when I first started, and I didn't even realize they were a thing, so I built everything around just the crushers. And then we were actually taking the crushed ore and putting it into smelters and making bars out of it. But then you get the sorters, and you can make more efficiently your metal bars and stuff. And so I rebuilt it again for that. And then I unlocked the blast furnaces, which then allowed us to make molten metals, which allowed us to be even more efficient with our bar production. So then I had to redesign it again for that. My God, this mod will make you go crazy. Not even joking. I think I went crazy a couple times trying to build all this stuff. Okay, so this is part of my old factory here. So we've got some farming stuff over there, more farming stuff over there. We've got some, I think there is sulfur in there. So depending on how we do the iron processing and I guess the copper processing as well, one of the byproducts we can get out of there is sulfur. And so that comes out of the molten slag. So depending on how you want to do that, you can get sulfur out of here without actually needing a sulfur node, which is kind of cool. So sulfur there, concrete there, and then that one, no wait, sulfur, glass, and then concrete. And then I had some walkways, and I had like a whole thing over here going over, you know, it was just a bunch of stuff here. That stuff I haven't taken apart yet, but that's kind of on the docket. We have biomass stuff over there. Actually, we'll just take a look, I guess. Yeah, I kind of figured that was gonna hurt. Okay, so here we're taking in dirt, just normal everyday dirt. So there you go, dirt. So we have dirt nodes now. We also have 3 different kinds of dirt. We have peat. We have what was the other one? We have peat dirt, we have regular dirt, and then we have bog dirt. That was the other one. Then we take this dirt and we put it into a seed extractor, and then this dirt will give us wheat, corn, potato, and carrots. The bog dirt will give us something else. The peat dirt will give us something else. Man. So then we have all of these little biomass capsules there. So we're taking all of the seeds here. So that is what all this is, just a bunch of seeds, and you can see what each ones are. So this is like wheat. This is carrot, so that's what carrot seeds are. Potato seeds, and we have corn seeds right there. All of that goes into this farming platform. Now this farming platform has been upgraded, so the irrigation stuff is an add-on. The harvester, which is this kind of weird thing in the back, it looks like little grate things, so that's a harvester, so that's another add-on. And then the greenhouse aspect of it is another add-on on top of that, and then each of these things allows you to do like different things. So like we have regular stuff, so yeah, so it says, I don't know how to read this, honestly. Required plant modules, so you've got the harvester, which is the thing with the hand and the little plant coming out of it. You've got the thing that looks like little drops of water onto the plants, that's the irrigation. Then you have the little box around the plant, and that's the greenhouse. So depending on what you want to do with these, it requires different modules. So I was doing the enriched potatoes, I think, here. And then there's also going to be fertilizer, which we can then add into here, which will make these even more efficient. Yeah, I mean, this is just insane. So we've got carrots, we've got potatoes, we've got wheat, we've got biomass capsules, we've got corn. All of that is going into here, and you can see that I've made quite a lot of it. And then all of that is going into here. And then this is just kind of like a feedback thing. For everything that isn't used, it goes into here, and then just kind of refeeds into here. And then we have these things. Now this is a cooking hub where we take stuff and we make stuff. So we can make all kinds of food here. We've got, so right now these are just the 3 different things that I can make, but we've got like pies that we can make. We've got 7 different types of snail food, depending on what kind of snails you want to raise. We've got all kinds of biomass capsules, which we can then turn into biomass, which we can then also use for power, which I have to show you guys as well. And then this is our snail food, which is not being stored currently. I think I took it all out, but this whole thing is like locked up right now, so it's just, like I said, I'm in the process of taking everything apart. All right, so then we go into this section here. So I think I have stairs over here. This section up here looks like a big circular section. That's going to be kind of like my storeroom, so I'll show you that after. These are all of my storages from everything that I had when I was taking everything apart. So you can see that we've got, I had used up a lot of materials to build the previous factory, and I had to take all of that apart. Oh my god. Like I said, this mod will drive you crazy. Okay. So now we have to take all of our molten metals and turn them into bars. Once we have the bars, we can then actually make stuff out of them. Now, unfortunately, every single one of these solidifiers and coolers, now these ones are supposed to go to make magnesium, but we don't have a recipe for that, obviously, so that's why they're not set up. But they are there because I think the magnesium recipe will come up as I unlock more things, so it's there. But if we take a look at this one, this is taking molten tin and some water, and it gives us tin ingots and steam. So all of the steam that is being created here, so that's where all of this is all steam, gets pumped down here, carried under, and then all the way under the floor, down over here, to those 3 pipes that you see up against the wall over there. And then all of that steam from all of these machines here goes to make water up there for our steel. And then this is the slag. That's what the slag looks like. Slag comes down out of here. Our molten metals come through over here, so you can see that's where all of those come down. We've got a couple of them going over this way, so we've got our magnesium here, we've got our tin up there. This is our glass, which I still have to get down through here somehow. Wait, no, hold on. This one is glass. These 2 are crushed stone. Okay. So then we've got a whole other line of solidifiers. So this is making zinc, and I think the set down there is making copper. And then we go over into this one. This is making lead, and I think iron is down there. And then we've got our brass and our bronze over in these two. We're not making as much of the molten stuff, so they're kind of just by themselves. So we've got our bronze right here, and we've got our brass over here. So that's making brass ingots as well. So once you can get to the part where you have bars, you're doing pretty good, because then you can take and manually craft stuff if you need it. But now, the issue is we have molten slag. Now, if the molten slag backs up, the whole process slows down up there where we're making all of our molten metals. So we have to do something with the slag. So all of this slag is then going into these guys over here. Now, these are fluid conditioners. These will take the molten slag, cool it down to make cold slag, and it also pulls out a little bit of sulfur. So that's what all of these are doing. And then we take the cold slag. So that's what's kind of coming out over here. So our sulfur is being split off over into here. I don't have a use for it yet, so it's just going into here. Our cold slag is going over into here, where it is joined with crushed stone. So once again, cold slag, crushed stone. From that, we get concrete. And then our concrete, still in the process of doing all this, so it's just storing up right here, but these can stack to 500, so I'm not really too worried about it. So, and plus I've been kind of taking stuff out of here. So those are all making concrete. And then I have no idea what I'm going to do over here, but I'm assuming that from here and then going this way into the desert more is going to be more of our... Yeah, and over here was actually a power plant, but then I moved the power plant over to there, so I'll go and take a look at that as well. But yeah, so this whole thing is going to extend that way. And then we're going to have more room to make all of the things, because there are going to be a lot of things that need to be made. And just to give you an idea of all of the things that can be made with this mod, that have to be made with this mod, which once again will lead to your eventual insanity, I will show you here. So we have all of our crushed stuff, which we can do manually, which is cool. We have these things, a lot of the stuff you'll recognize. Steel screws are new, brass pipes are new. Everything else is pretty much the same here. But then we get, and that's all the same, we have our slugs, which we can then breed. We have our biomass, solid biofuel, we have glass, concrete, and then we get into the craziness. So we've got iron wire, regular wire, cable, tin wire, quick wire. And those are all just different types of wire. Then we have screws, iron plates, bronze plates, copper pipes. I mean, and this is just, it is a list of things. And it might not look like a lot when you're scrolling down through here, but when you're trying to make all of this stuff, dude, it is insane. So, from here, I suppose we can take a real quick look at our storage area. So this is still a work in progress. I just kind of wanted to have like a nice circular area that you could walk into from, you know, the 4 points. And then we're just going to have just a ton of stuff in here, and it's all going to be stored here. I'm thinking I might actually do a second level and have like some, I don't know, some catwalks or something up there. I don't know. But, and then I want to have this kind of open to the sky as well, and then have the factory kind of build around it. I think that'll look kind of cool. And we're going to need all of the space. So, believe it or not, this is still a beginner factory. Like, this is like a starter factory. I don't even think we've unlocked oil yet, to give you an idea of where we are. Alright, so now we're going to head over here. We're going to... That was a terrible jump. But we will take this way. I have unlocked hypertubes. I just have not had a chance to build them yet. Okay, so this, all of this is a power plant. So we've got some rubite here, which we are taking to get the rubite ore. We are then crushing it over into here, and then we are getting rid of the crushed rubite, so it's going directly into a sink. And then the crushed stone, which is what we need, is going over into here. Now, this is a fluid conditioner, again, the same thing that we use for the molten slag, only this time it's taking in biological water and using the crushed stone as sort of like a filter to give us biomass and leaves. So that's how this whole thing is running, and that's how we're getting our biomass, and that's what all three of these things are doing. So they're taking in some bio water from over here, which is actually coming from the geysers over there. So you can kind of see, if I could actually walk up on here, you can see the pipe going over there, and then the geysers are over there, and there are 2 nodes of biological water over there. And so once we have our bio water and we get our leaves and our biomass, we then need to take the leaves, turn them into biomass, so now we have all biomass. And then through a very, very compact method of moving things through here and ensuring that everything is balanced, we have 3 constructors here, we have 2 constructors here. So these 3 constructors are turning all of the leaves into biomass. These 2 constructors are then turning the biomass into solid biofuel. So then we get all of that coming out over here, and that gets stored into an awesome sink storage, so that way it doesn't overfill and, you know, stop everything, which would, I don't know if it would be bad, but it certainly wouldn't be good. But yeah, so another thing that we're getting out of this is a byproduct, is water. So biomass, leaves, and then we're also producing water over here. So the water, we have to get rid of that somehow, so the water is being moved over into here. Now, these are our power assemblies. So we've got 2 different things. So we've got our boiler platform here. This bottom section will take our solid biofuel and burn it, so it creates heat. This upper part here will then take the steam and then turn it into hot steam. So if we take a look at IO, we take in water. It takes in water, not steam, and turns it into hot steam. Now, steam and hot steam are 2 different things. Regular steam will not turn a turbine, which is what this thing is, but hot steam will. So we've got our turbine over here, which then takes the hot steam, and it makes regular steam. Now, the regular steam has to be vented, otherwise this whole process stops. So that's where this steam is going down over into these pipes over here. And then also another thing to keep in mind with our biomass heaters is it produces CO2. Now the carbon dioxide also has to be vented, because otherwise our boilers will stop functioning. So all of that is then being piped through over into here, and you need to be careful with your steam. So you'll see that I actually have 2 different sets of steam here. You produce a lot of steam here, so you want to make sure you don't overfill the pipes, because the pipes can only carry so much, and if they carry too much, then the whole process stops and you're out of power, which is kind of a pain. So, from here, we have solidifiers and coolers, which is then taking the steam and turning them into water, and it's doing that with as much as it can. So here's our other pipe of steam coming through here, going to these ones, and then whatever is left over that either is unaccounted for or whatever is going into the steam cooling tower, which then just vents the steam into the air, effectively getting rid of it. And then, so we're taking and creating water from the steam byproduct, which is then being fed back into the system, but then this isn't going to create enough water to run the system, so we also need to pull additional water out of here to then feed into the system to make sure we have enough water. Because if we run out of water, we run out of hot steam. If we run out of hot steam, we can't turn the turbines. If we can't turn the turbines, we don't get power. Oh my god. You thought that the construction inside of this was terrible? Dude, you have no idea. And then this is just my biomass power plant over here. I was running out of power and I needed more. So I went up to the coal and I made another plant. So let's just hop over here. Hop over here. That was terrible. I don't know, we'll figure it out. I will have hypertubes here to make this so much easier, because right now using this thing is it's a little dangerous, especially if you pick up speed. Because if you fall down here, I mean, you won't die, but it will hurt. And then, you know, this ramp area isn't exactly the easiest thing to get onto. And then we've got all of the little hog doggy things over here, which I'm trying to avoid. But I can't slide jump up a hill. Okay, seriously, are we flat yet? We're not flat yet. Are we flat yet? We're not flat yet. Come on, man. Are we flat? We're still not flat yet. Slide jump. Why can you not slide jump? Slide jump. Oh my god. Okay. So, there's our coal plant over here. And then we also have these things. Now, these are hydroelectric. So, and that probably was a bad idea. But water turbines, there are nodes around the world, and there just happen to be, what, 4 or 5 nodes here? 4 nodes. And each of these will give me 50 megawatts running at max power. Now, some of the nodes do not run at max. They run at 8 megawatts. So we've got those ones here. And then we've got another, what is it, like 7 down here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. So another 7 down here. So, and then these ones are also all producing 50 megawatts, so that's 350 plus another 200, so that's 550 megawatts just off of this area here. Very, very cool. Our biomass generator area over there was doing 1,200 megawatts, so all of those water turbines are doing about half that. A little less than half, but... okay, so then we have another modular miner over here. And we're only utilizing 1, and I don't even think we're fully utilizing all of the coal coming out of here yet. But coal comes into here, storage container, gets filled up all the way. And then I have the extra here and not being synced. I mean, I suppose I probably could have it be synced, but I can grab all of this stuff and bring it back over to the base for steel production. And that amount of coal actually lasts for a pretty decent amount of time. Okay, so now we've got our CO2 chimneys here, and then we've got our steam chimney things over there, so they're just venting the CO2 and the steam into the atmosphere. We're taking our water from here and then pumping it up into here. Once again, you got to be careful about how much water you're putting in your pipes. I originally had this as just 1 pipe, but then I wasn't getting enough water into here in this because I was actually overfilling the pipe. So then we have this whole area in here. Now we have our water coming in through here, and you can see it kind of joins up down over here to feed these other 4. And then we've got our turbines, we've got our power generators right here. And then we've got our coal burners down here, along with our steam crater boiler things, whatever. And then still same basic process over here. We need to take the CO2, which is that kind of brownish gray stuff, and vent it. We also need to take the steam, which is in that one over there and in the middle one, and vent that as well. So they're both being vented over here. And in case you wanted to see what was inside, I mean, it's basically all it is right here. So I think this one is also making about 1,200 megawatts. And once again, we're not even fully utilizing that coal right there. And we've got another 2 pure coal nodes up here anyways. So yeah. This mod is insane. It makes playing the game, I would say, probably about 10 times more difficult. And like, not even a joke, like legit, like 10 times more difficult. And I'm gonna see if I can hop back over here, head back to the base. Hopefully I can actually make all these jumps so I don't look terrible. Nope, missed that one. Okay. I gotta make sure I don't miss this one. Good. And I hit the pole, so that stopped me real quick. Alright, now that pipe is in the way, so I gotta jump over the pipe, then jump here, then jump again. And I missed, and I could have fallen down, which would have been kind of annoying. And we have more steertight down here. And I plan on utilizing all of this stuff eventually as well, but I am... my god, dude. Really? You missed that? That was dumb. Anyways. So that is Satisfactory Plus Mod. The reason why I wanted to make this is I found a YouTuber. His handle, I guess, is Bed Plays Games. All one word, so BED Plays Games. And he's the one who kind of started showcasing the Satisfactory Plus mod. And then I saw it and I'm like, wow, I want to give that a try. And then however many hours later, I'm here, still building a starter base. And yeah, this has made me insane, driven me insane. I don't even know, dude. It's crazy. But if you're up for a challenge and you want to test your efficiency abilities here, this is the mod for you. Eventually, I'm going to have solar power. I've already got it unlocked, but I just need to unlock the weaver so that way I can make carbon fiber, which is a thing that I'm going to have to make, which I think you need like carbon dust or something. And that's going to be a whole other process right there too. And then I got to get all of my my slug production back up because I already took all that apart. That might actually be something good to put into here. But yeah, so the slug stuff is going to create a liquid which has to be transported via pipes into the miners, I think. And then that slug juice is what kind of powers them and makes them go faster. Dude, I don't even know. But to give you an idea of all the slug stuff that I've got, that is 496 yellow slugs. We've got 278 purple slugs. We've got one of these violet slugs. We've got, what is that, 600 blue slugs. We've got these lime slugs over here. We've got this one over here. This is another blue slug. There are white slugs. I mean, I've got slugs in here that I don't even know what they are. Like, what is this? An unknown egg? I mean, I have no idea. What kind of slug is it going to make? I don't know. Purple slug eggs, blue slug eggs, yellow slug eggs. Let me just sort this. Yeah. So, dude. Ridiculous. And you can't just, like, take a slug and turn it into a power chart anymore. Like, there's a whole freaking process for that. And that's going to make everything even more difficult. But I have been talking for 42 minutes. This has got even more parts from stuff that I was taking apart, so... Oh my god. So, this video is for Bed Plays Games. So I can kind of show him what I have done with Satisfactory Plus and how I have built my little factory here. His process is much different than mine. He is much more spread out. But then again, he also started in the desert, like the deep desert. Like over here, deep desert. And I'm in like the starting desert. So he's got like a ton of space over here that he can actually move out. I mean, granted I do too, but there's just stuff. So yeah, so we've got dirt over here. We've got, what is this? I think it's peat. Yeah, peat soil. So this actually needs to be renamed peat soil. And I need to know this because, I mean, I can make stuff out of that. We've got bog earth over here. We've got biological water, another node for that over here. We've got more bio water over here. We've got bog earth up here. We've got biological water, another one up there. We've got impure dirt. Now this impure dirt is what I'm bringing all the way over to here to feed my little farm area. There's a lot with this mod. Once again, if you like Satisfactory, if you play Satisfactory, if you want it to be a little bit more challenging, get this mod. And I am getting texted, so I have to go. But Bed Plays Games, I should say. This one's a to you, buddy. Thanks for introducing me to this. And hopefully you'll see this. And yeah, see you next time. I gotta go.